Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Chiefs Focus First and 10 show. You are here with JP and Caleb on another somber Sunday. I would start off with a bunch of cuss words, but I'm not even going to do that at this point. Not even worth it. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing okay.
I
have a lot to say.
Yeah. I'm going to let you go ahead because I got a lot to say too, and I'm just going to let you ride with it.
Okay. I'm going to say some stuff during the show that may be confrontational from a football stance, and I know people may not agree with me, but I really think personally right now, what we saw is Spags needs to go. He did not adjust. He did not blitz. He did not change anything in the scheme. We had players like Jarran Reed show no effort. Nick Bolton, Tyrann Mathieu, Juan Thornhill, and I think Chris Jones, for the most part, they showed some effort. Pretty much everyone else did not do anything. Willie Gay did some stuff too, but we had a select few that chose not to do anything. I don't know what's going on with the play calling. I don't know if it's Andy or is it Bieniemy, but they are trying to put him in a creative box when we've been saying for weeks this is not gonna help. And at this point, from my opinion, it looks like this season is going to be lost. There's no way they're going to get the number one seed at this point because they have lost to basically 4 teams who are basically going to win their division. So you're going to be like 6 or 7 seeds somehow limping into the playoffs at this point. I don't know what they're going to do. Andy Reid does not seem like himself when it comes to the play calling out there. He's kicking field goals. Like, look, you might as well go ahead and throw the Hail Mary or do something at that point. Why are you kicking a field goal down 24, 27 to nothing? You're kicking a field goal. That makes no sense at the end of the day because you are trying to help build your team back. Also, Spags, and I know I'm jumping back and forth. They're going to throw a screen on 3rd and long. Why did this not? I don't care. What I'm just going to say this. I'm going to let you run with JP. I'm going to let you run with this. But this just showed me, one, Andy needs to stop being buddy-buddy with the coaches, and somebody got to go. I'm saying Spags right now because he has failed, and he has legit failed to improve this defense. Brett Veach has failed this team, as Fizz said on our show 3 weeks ago after the Chiefs lost the Buffalo Bills. He overcompensated with the offensive line, and look where it got us. Number 3, Andy has to find better coaches and personnel that are going to help. They want to bring in players like Jarran Reed. They want to bring in players like Josh Gordon, but they're not working out. It's very frustrating. I don't know what to do personally, but from what I'm seeing is like, have these coaches lost a ounce of trying to figure out what they're going to do? We have different things going on Twitter, man. We're not going to get into that, but JP, I told you, hey, it's about to get bad on Twitter with these players. And we're not going to go into, but we just saw some examples right now. So all I'm going to say is, look, Andy, I don't know if he's lost a team, but Mahomes, somebody's going to have to do something because this team it looks like they're not going to beat the Giants on Monday night. And I'm going to go as far to say is they're going to miss the playoffs the way they've been playing because this is pretty bad. I've never seen an Andy Reid team play this terribly before. It was like watching Alex Smith out there as quarterback. And that's saying something because Alex Smith during some games would act like the GOAT himself, or he would be worse than Jamarcus Russell. If we're just being completely honest, looking at that 2017 season. And Mahomes has potential not being used. Kelsey's not getting out his breaks. Tyreek Hill's not getting out his breaks. DeMarcus Robinson still wants to play tap dancing and run backwards. Who else can go? Darryl the Barrel's the one plowing through people. Trey Smith wasn't blocking really well. Veach put all this money in the offensive line, and they did not do anything to help. And to conclude my last thought, and I know I'm rambling, something has to change because there is no way this team should be playing this well as talent. Spags needs to figure it out or leave because he needs to be playing players like Armani Watson or Darnell Daniel. The defense looked a lot better without Anthony Hitchens in there. Nick Bolton showed up and showed out. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right, 100%. I mean,
that's just kind of, and I'm going to get into it more, but that's kind of the pinnacle of what I'm feeling at this point.
Oh, and you're 100% right.
And Tyrann Mathieu has a right to be pissed off because these coaches, not saying coordinators or head coaches, but obviously they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing to help this team. Mahomes is looking like Nathan Peterman out there, bro. He's not getting no help.
He's not.
Like Nathan Peterman. It's just ridiculous. People dropping the ball. This is probably one of the worst teams Andy Reid has had that's been coached because they are now 3-4. They have the worst turnovers in the league. Mahomes has more interceptions than Zach Wilson of the Jets, who was just drafted by the New York Jets. That is pitiful.
Yeah.
That is pitiful.
Yeah.
Brett Veach obviously is a good GM, but he needs to figure it out, because what the stuff he did made this team look terrible, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's
and
worse.
Real quick, the Ravens fans who want to come after us have no one to talk, because they got their behind spunked. They got their behind spanking by the Bengals. They just gave you one, so you guys can be quiet just as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're talking big shit about how great the Ravens are, and they just got handed their asses.
Got beat up. And I picked that. I said the Bengals were. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I said the Bengals were going to be good this year, and they have proved that this year. So the Chiefs, they may not even beat the Bengals the way we're looking.
Yeah. Here.
I mean, I don't mean to go on a tangent, bro, but
no,
this
you have
to
to
get out.
No, it's true. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
There's coaching issues, and then there's player issues, and right now we have a little bit of both. But most of the problem is coming from a personnel issue, and from what I'm seeing, it's and what I'm hearing, it's a personnel issue. Mahomes is feeling.
But JP, we've been saying this for how many weeks now?
I know.
They have not tried to fix anything.
Fix the problem,
and that is not good, because if you're not going to fix the problem, it's like it's like a professional, you're owning your own food place, and you know there's a problem with cooking the burgers, but you're not doing to try to fix them. It's just very frustrating to see. This team has so much potential, and to see it go down the drain just hurts me sometimes. But as I always tell people, the Chiefs can only do so much. If they win this game, great. If they lose this game, oh well, I still have to get up, go to work the next day, regardless. That's why I don't put much stake into games anymore. I'm like, look, I got to see them win a Super Bowl. That's great and everything, but it's a week-by-week basis. They ain't going to get me to heaven or anything.
That's true. And this is the first time that, the Chiefs have not scored a touchdown since, I think, the 2016 season, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl. I'm talking about regular season. Yeah.
Oh,
in the Mahomes era, they haven't had a teams or a game that, no, it must have been the 2017 season. Because they haven't had a regular season game they haven't scored a touchdown in. But here, it's quite obvious that there is a personnel issue, and I've heard this week in and week out, and I've told you this, and I don't care. On the show
several times.
Yeah, and now I'm to the point where I don't care who gets pissed and who doesn't. There's an issue with a couple of coaches. I'm not gonna get into names, but there is some issues with a couple of coaches, defensive mainly, and they have caused problems for players. And from what I understand, one of them is finally done. And thank God he is. It has caused turmoil within the locker room, within the defensive room. It's caused the brotherhood to not be so much of a brotherhood. Mahomes' issues are stemming from, look, I had a little bit of a back and forth with a fan today that I think kind of maybe have understood what I was talking about. I said, the defense is playing like total trash, and when they're playing as bad as they are, how do you expect the offense to react? Any offense is going to react the same way. They're in a hurry up, we got to score type of mentality, and they're overcompensating. It is what it is. And now I think it's a little different than the 2018 season, because we had different weapons. We had different, it was a different scenario. Nobody knew what we were doing, how we were doing it. Mahomes wasn't put in the Michael Jackson bubble, and he was able to go out and do what he normally does. Now he's in the bubble, and today that bubble almost got him killed. And I hope they see that now.
Not a pocket. And I don't even interrupt you, JP. I'm sorry, man. But you said this 100 times. I'm going to echo it 3,000 more, 7 times 70. Mahomes is not a pocket passer. You have said that. I have said that. He is not designed to put in the pocket. What Brett Veach did was basically create a bubble. You can do that to an extent, but Mahomes is best when he's rolling around. Yeah. I don't know. I understand they're trying to keep him safe, but in my opinion, the more you keep in the pocket, the more he's going to get hit. We've seen that with Peyton Manning. Even Tom Brady the few times he's gotten hit, he's been lit up.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott's been lit up.
You saw what happened to him today.
Yeah.
I mean, look what happened to him. Up. Yeah. And
it just shows you, look, you guys need to have a come to Jesus meeting and change your whole philosophy, because we're having players right now showing no effort. A lot of them are. There's just a few and a couple of specific players that was like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah.
And it was just frustrating to see. It's like, look, Mahomes is a great player, but I don't know what Andy is doing. I don't know.
It's compromising his ability
I don't
think.
know if it's him, and I don't know if it's specific. I don't know if it's him or Bieniemy doing the calls, but
it's
they need to figure. It's not okay. Well, then one of them, whoever has the endpoint, needs to go ahead and try to figure out a way to change up the play calling. And I think I said that earlier when I was going on my tangent. But what we're looking at the end of the day is this: talent is being wasted. Mahomes' prime is being wasted. This is turning into the early 2000s, late 2010s, and early 2010s Colts, where they have a good year, and in some years that the defense can't stop anything. The special teams isn't doing great. The famous Dave Toub special teams has been nowhere to be seen this season. We've seen fumbles. We have seen holding calls. I mean, offensive line, though, dude. I mean, it just shows you time after time after time. This team lacks discipline. I think this is one of Andy's worst teams so far when it comes to discipline. They have all the talent in the world, but nothing is getting done.
Well, I think a lot of it, and again, Andy has always been that guy that lets his coaches coach. And right now, I think I told you off air that he is in a position that he almost has to let his coaches coach for his own sake. And it's not working out in his favor. As you've noticed, Andy's not animated on the sidelines.
It's select times he's animated. At select times.
Select times, but he's not his normal animated self. He's not getting upset. He's keeping himself very calm. There's a reason behind that. I'm not going to get into that, but there's a reason why he's doing that. He keeps his personal life to himself, and there's a reason behind that. But anyway, I mean, I hate, you know how I am, dude. I hate getting into situations that I hear, and then I don't like to spread them all over the place. But there's certain things that have to change and that are going to change within the personnel side of this. And it's not a player situation. It is a personnel situation. The one thing that Spags has a problem with is this depth chart bullshit that he has in his mindset. He's got to get over this. Look,
he's acting like Bob Sutton at this point. He really is. He's
this old
turning
school
into Bob
thing,
Sutton where he doesn't want to change.
Yeah, and this old school mindset of, well, because, you know, this guy's getting paid this amount of money and he's on this depth chart, and then you got a guy that's fifth on the depth chart, then he shouldn't be put above the guy that's first or second on the depth chart. That's absolute bullshit. If you got a guy that is exponentially better than, and he's on fifth on the depth chart, then play him. It's that simple. Dorian O'Daniel is a better player. He should be out there playing.
I think at this point they're not going to let him play.
I don't think so
in
either.
His mind, after 3 years, you guys, he should honestly. Dorian O'Daniel is a Charles Goodman from Chiefs Wire USA Today. You know, he came on our show thing Thursday. Yeah. He said he's kind of short. I originally thought he was going to take over Sorensen's position because he's fast. I don't know why this man is still continuing to play special teams time in and time out. Why aren't you letting Armani Watts come in? I mean, you're wasting.
Armani's a beast. I don't know why they don't let him play.
It just makes no sense why they're having these guys play basically special teams. It's like, look, you need to figure it out or something because you're losing the fan base. The players, I have a feeling that it's going to get pretty bad pretty soon looking at this week. We've already seen some blows on Twitter. I would not be surprised if there's any more. Tyrann Mathieu out there with a hurt finger. A hurt thumb, actually, as we saw what he said.
And Ward was out there hurt today, and he still made some great plays.
And Ward, exactly. And they're doing some things, but it's just like, enough is enough. Something.
You know, it's funny because the left side, if you look at it in your, you know, from if you're looking at the left side cornerback wise, is with the exception of Snead on the right side, the left side is a hell of a lot better. And I'm sorry, but Mike Hughes is not the answer out there.
Well, I think they're not letting Baker play because his injury from last year. But I don't know, man. At this point,
well, if it was me,
positive.
I have to. If it was me, I'd be figuring out a way of getting Breezy back here. And I know of another. I know there's a reason why. Look, there is a reason why they kept that spot open on the 53-man roster, and it's not what somebody said on one of these. Other guys, these, you know, national guys and, you know, the know-it-alls on Twitter said. There's a reason why they kept that 53-man or that 53 third spot open, I should say.
So you're saying they're going to trade someone?
There's going to be a player coming in, and and I believe that that's going to help and it's going to be on the defensive side.
If it ain't Jesus, I don't know how it's going to help him at this point.
Well, I think it's going to help to a degree, but remember, the AFC right now is wide